and it has been an extraordinary 12 hours or so as we have been right around the world, from seeing the sunrise over the lands of the Ramapo Lenape and the peace treaty that has been signed this day, and in ceremony with the Mohawk, and so many wonderful, wonderful offerings, and Peace Sunday around the world. And it's a great honor to be gathering with you and this very special gathering, this plenary inside World Unity Week, which is protecting and honoring water and the natural sacred sites. We have with us Linda Tucker, Chief Phil Lane Jr., Mindahi Batisda, Jyoti Ma, Joan Bowler, and Jim Graywolf Petruzzi. And my co-host is Shelley Ostroff. This feels very, very empowered to be coming together around the world and talking about different sacred sites and protecting water at this time, on this day, in this space. So to begin, we're going to hear a very special piece of music from Auntie Pixie Burns, and I'll just get this set ready to go. This is a very powerful piece of music and a beautiful way to begin. So I will get this set up.
Let's have a yarn out loud about the story of water. When we understand water, then we begin to understand ourselves, because inside us is the sound of our water. When we gather together as the sound of many waters, then we begin to understand how we fit inside the story of our planet. For the secrets of understanding our planet has always been available and hidden in plain sight. From the land to the sky is the story of many waters that find their way down to the shorelines and join together as the great oceans. These oceans are the recorded living storehouse of many waters collected over millions of years. Every sound that has ever been and heard is still alive and travelling our planet through its own story of waters. This is Big Talk Up Place, the sound of our mother's voice. Why is this important? Because without it, our planet would still be a burning star. Why is this important? To be the sound of your water, to recognize and acknowledge the sound that you are, water. Because water does not discriminate. Water does not leave any other water behind. And water, not one more important than the other. Yawa mumbwek yawa.
And a beautiful way to begin. Deep gratitude to Auntie Pixie for that beautiful song and beginning. And you saw on the bottom there the World Water Law. And we're going to be hearing more about the World Water Law as we go through today as well. This is the time. And it's wonderful to really begin with a prayer and a blessing. Jyoti Ma of the Fountain and the Mother Earth delegation. Jyoti Ma, it's so wonderful to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you. And wow, I'm honored to be here in this very holy moment when so many people around this planet are joining our hearts, our minds, our souls, our songs, our prayers, and our ways of life in unity here. Such a significant moment. So I just want to enter the rest of my feeling in my prayer. I want to say good morning to you, Mother, Father, God. And I want to share my gratitude. I want to thank you for that morning star that brought the notice that the sun was about to rise and a dawn was about to greet us, and the sun that brought the light into this day so we could all stand up and put our skin on and raise our arms to you to fill with your inspiration. I give great thanks for the ancestors that have their hand on every single one of us, showing us and protecting us and guiding our way. I give great thanks for the sacred territory of the Pomo and the coastal Miwok peoples whose land I sit on here as I offer this prayer. I give great thanks that we are taking a moment to sit down with you, Mother Earth, and to listen to you, truly listen to you. For as you saw, all of us saw, and we reviewed the beauty of this creation as we saw the sacred waters and the knowledge that they carry and the healing that they share each and every day. The wind that blows and cools and moves life, the breath of life we carry and reach up inside ourselves and take a deep breath every morning when we open our eyes and walk into this new day. I give great thanks for all those that have listened and have gathered in this way to be with us in this moment of honoring the sacred water of life and the sacred territories that are producing so much life and are bringing so much to this Mother Earth and her creation. For without them, we would not be here. This Mother Earth is going through a great transcendence. She's moving us with her into the heart of the cosmos, truly into that fifth dimension where unity of all resides and where we embrace our diversity and sit in the power of our love. Oh, I give such great thanks. I bow now in this moment to the grandmother that dreamed us all into place and is still dreaming us today. Oh, grandmother, please hear us this morning. We are your children. Our hearts are open and our minds are still so that we can hear the dreaming you are pushing forward in this moment of time. We give gratitude for the prophecies that prepared us for these days and for the prophecies as they instruct us how to walk in these days. We give great thanks. We give great thanks. We give great thanks.
Thank you, Jyoti Ma. Thank you. And thank you for the incredible partnership and support and engagement of the Fountain and the Mother Earth delegation right through World Unity Week. Very, very grateful and joyful to be walking together with you. When Dr. Shelley Ostroff and Jan Golding first suggested this idea of a panel on this day, it just resonated so strongly that we would come together to honor and protect the water and the natural sacred sites. And they asked me to say a few words about the journey of Unity Earth over these years that have led us to the emergence of this particular part of the journey. And as many of you may know, for about 4 years or 5 years, we were on a big journey around the world with the road to 2020, not knowing what 2020 would hold, but feeling the call to do this journey in different parts of the planet and building up connections and networks and prayers across the earth. And looking back, it's very clear that that journey was guided and gravitated towards the sacred sites, really beginning with the return to country of Mungo Man in 2017 here in the countryside of Australia. And from that powerful return of a 45,000-year-old ancestor, you'll hear a little bit more about Mungo from my beloved mother, who's here with us as well in a few moments. But from there, taking that energy and those prayers from Indigenous Australians and other people of goodwill in the heart, and going to the Rift Valley in Ethiopia, and this incredible origin story of humanity in that part of the earth, and the water that is there, and the sacred sites that are there, right through the Rift Valley, from Lalibela down to Shashamane, the African Union in the middle, being in Addis Ababa, and so many other places and spaces that were part of this buildup of this story. Crestone, Colorado, of course, the great Ganga Varanasi convergence in 2019. Everywhere we went and we were called, it seems it was the land and the places and the spaces and the waters that was calling us, all the way through to Holy Land Living Water in the Holy Land in February last year, where it was really the Jordan River and the Dead Sea and the waters again that were calling us, and the sacred spaces again that were calling us together, the family of humanity. And we came in all different numbers and colors and tribes gathering, and these parts of the earth, and this build up, this slow, organic, holy, original becoming of what is now bursting out in so many different ways and places and spaces. So it just feels very powerful today on the solstice, in this peace in action day, that we're coming together to stand up and to protect and honor the water and the sacred places and spaces, to recognize their power and to participate in the healing and protection. And it's truly an extraordinary panel that has been put together in order to bring this through. So deep bows to Shelley Ostroff. In fact, Shelley, if we can bring you up here just to greet everybody, I think that would be wholly appropriate and beautiful. Dr. Shelley Ostroff, this really has been your vision and your brilliance that has manifest this. And good morning, shalom. Good afternoon to you, or good evening to you. I don't even know what time it is anymore, Shelley. It's great solstice blessings to you in Jerusalem.
Thank you, Ben, and it's such a pleasure and an honor to be here with all of you in really honoring the sacred sites and water as a foundation for our collective healing. And thank you to Unity Earth and to you, Ben, for really leading the way in holding these with such reverence and so much love as we unify for our collective healing. What a pleasure to be here, and I very much look forward to this event. Thank you all for joining us.
It's just my mum calling, Shelley. So if you want to speak a little bit, just another 30 seconds or so.
Yes, I think what I'd like to share is this journey that I've been on alongside Unity Earth, which has really allowed me to bring forth that which is so precious in my own path of honoring water and all of nature in this way. So from the meeting Ben around 7 days of rest and to the living waters, the sacred sites and living waters in Jerusalem, we now have this opportunity to gather globally in unity as we move forward in action.
Wonderful, beautiful. Thank you, Dr. Shelley Ostroff. And My mum will come back on. She just had some computer troubles, but I think that gives us a great opportunity to go to Linda Tucker over in the Pride Lands. We had the opportunity to visit Linda through your invitation, Shelley, in February after the Holy Land Living Water. Linda, it's so wonderful and so a joy today of all days to see you and be with you, and we're so grateful and a warm welcome.
Oh, Ben, Shelley, beloved ones around the planet, if I could join the blessings that have been held for water from dawn this day and will be held around the planet going forward by calling in from the four corners of the earth, the star lion ancestors. In the Western culture, they may be called the archangels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel. But in Star Lion territories, they are called Galunga, Enumsile, Nyalete, Kalahari, or in the ancient memories of the water lions, they are called Teferi, Ararat, Kahemsen, Heoen. And so these four guardians of the four corners of the earth are with us at this turning point. This is one of the four moments or four cardinal points of the globe, the solstice, celebrated throughout time by ancient traditions who unified as one in honoring water and earth and sun and all that was important in the life-giving, fundamental, original codes of our planet, those codes that are still held in the heart of our vital, sacred natural sites and that pulse here in the heart of the heartland. So at this moment of the year, they are intensified, and we know how important ceremony is wherever we are on the globe. But I'd like to share with you, 20 years ago, I uncovered this. I'm going to share my screen because I uncovered this photograph that was taken 20 years ago on this very day in the city that I'm in now. I'm actually not in White Line territories. I've gone down the Nile meridian, so the water meridian, and I had to meet with the Minister of Environment of South Africa, and therefore I'm in a city called Durban, which amazingly is the counterpart to Giza in Egypt, the exact counterpart. So I don't know if you can see my screen. I hope you can. Do you see that picture of me on horseback? That was this day 20 years ago exactly, World Peace and Prayer Day, that opens Global Unity Week. And I'm walking there leading actually, well, a chief oval looking horse, 19th generation keeper of the White Buffalo prophecies, is leading World Peace and Prayer Day. And we united the White Lion prophecy with the White Buffalo prophecy of America. And it struck me that what has moved since then in the last 20 years? And I realized that what has moved is unification. This World Unity Week is so attuned with what has happened in the last 20 years. These individual ceremonies that we held, and that was one of the unified ceremonies then, they are now global ceremonies of Indigenous consciousness, unified Indigenous consciousness globally. We know how important ceremony is, but when it's united around the globe, Gaia, Mother Earth, hears us, and she can breathe and she can regenerate again. So I thank you, Ben, Shelley, the organizers of this event, for amplifying and inviting this global field that unifies us. And it was on this day 1 year ago that we shared, you know, the consciousness of the charter which came out of White Line territories to unify Indigenous efforts everywhere under one heart. And it was opened with Ilarion Merkuriev, with grandmother Mona Polaka, and later Jyoti Mindahi. We united in holding it and helping to deliver it. These unified efforts are the pulse of our regenerating planet. I've been invited to share specifically on the project that I've been nurturing for 3 decades now. And it has advanced over the decades in the protection for a specific sacred site. I'm coming back. Do you see me on the main screen, or am I still sharing screen?
No, we got you on the main screen. You're great, Linda. You're great.
So this site of the lions has it has a heart that pulses and protects the entire ecosystem, because in this heart, the lions have sovereignty. The land is inviolate and actually is inaccessible. It's a no-go zone to humanity. And this is the model that the Asagaya Declaration has delivered. And essentially, in 3 sentences, what this declaration, which was conceived and delivered by Indigenous elders, environmental leaders, and enviro lawyers, a collective who unified, along with scientists who serve Indigenous knowledge systems. This model was delivered, which identifies that the way we protect these sacred natural sites is to ensure an eco-centric rather than an egocentric approach to our planet, meaning Earth comes first. If we serve Earth, we have made the paradigm shift that will restore our planet. And it begins with the most sensitized places that are holding the source codes of our planet, these sacred natural sites. In these sacred natural sites, there are 3 layers of protection and regeneration that happens according to this model. The heart of the sites must be protected at all costs, firstly, and without any attempt to commoditize them or link them to the monetary system. They must be protected because they are beyond any monetary value, and therefore as no-go zones where nature is sovereign for nature's sake. And I'm going to close in a moment and show you what happens when these sites are held pristine. They not only regenerate themselves, but they regenerate the entire ecosystem. And then at the borders of these ecosystems is where there is the interface with humanity, the interpretive centers, cultural centers, day centers, visitor centers that are sensitized to the narratives that flow in regeneration for the planet. So the first would be regeneration for the planet from the heartland. The second layer would be cultural regeneration. And then the third layer, right on the outer precincts of these wildlife areas, would be economic regeneration, where these regenerative farming methodologies are being introduced that restore devastated lands. And in the case of the White Line Heartland, there are 2 rivers speaking about the protection of the water, rivers that are critical to the survival of not only the ecosystem, but the greater system, the human systems that surround the ecosystem. The first river runs north-south along the meridian that goes all the way through Africa to the Nile and then links to the Holy Lands of Jordan. And the second river goes east-west, and that is called the Star Lion River, and it flows into all the wilderness lands. Our project is dedicated to protecting both rivers. Now that's about all the time I have for my sharing, but I'd like the lions to close and share with you how they regenerate their ecosystem. So I'll share my screen once more for the lions to speak with you. Thank you, everyone. Do you see the shared screen, or are you still seeing me?
Not yet, not yet.
Okay, just one more. Sorry, there we go.
Yes.
All right, go.
Like the vital organs of the body, powerful biodiversity hotspots on Earth hold the source codes for the revitalization of our entire planet and the flourishing of life itself. Life began in Africa, and speciation is associated with the East African Rift Valley at the epicenter of Earth's land masses, also referred to by evolutionary scientists as the birth canal of the human species. The white lions were born on the Nilotic meridian along the East African Rift tectonic plate and, significantly, in alignment with the most important architectural sacred sites on the African continent, Giza, Great Zimbabwe, Barberton. This means that humankind's greatest lion monument, the Great Sphinx and pyramids of Giza in the north, align exactly with the birthplace of the white lions in the south. The white lions originate in this one location only on Earth, Timbavati, meaning place where the star lions came down in the old Shangaan language, and their heartland, Tsao, meaning star lion. But while the African wisdom keepers have long revered the white lions as holy animals and bringers of peace and prosperity, their critically important role in the ecosystem is less well understood. Their cultural role in restoring hope to humankind is equaled by their ecological role in restoring health to their ecosystem. Today, we are faced with a pervading sense of the devastation and desecration of Mother Earth. As immortalized in Disney's Lion King story, when the true king is removed from his kingdom, a wasteland ensues. But there is a way to come back into right relationship with our planet. When the apex animal is restored in its natural kingdom, the flourishing of all species in the ecosystem is assured. The white lions may be living legends, mythic in their majesty and iconic in their radiant solar power, yet their ability to restore health and healing to their natural ecosystem is fundamental ecology at its best. Importantly, the place of origin is in the epicenter of South Africa's Kruger Canyons biosphere, a UNESCO-declared biosphere region and one of the last viable lion ranges on the planet. The white lion's birthplace was declared an ancient sacred site by African kings hundreds of years before the Kruger National Park was proclaimed in 1926, and the more recent United Nations accreditation at the turn of this millennium. But tragically, the white lions have been forcibly removed from their endemic wilderness territories for a documented period of over 6 decades into zoos and circuses around the globe and into death camps in South Africa's notorious cuddle to kill industry. To ensure the critical survival of the white lions while protecting the watershed in their area of origin, the Global White Lion Protection Trust has been purchasing large tracts of land since 2004, the heart of the white lion's ancestral territories. Significantly, the white lion heartlands spans the arterial river which serves the greater region, the only perennial waters in an area of some 100,000 hectares. Once a severely denuded habitat of radical biodiversity loss, the white-line heartlands has enjoyed dramatic regeneration under the paw print of the apex predator. This recent Google Earth map records the contrast between Tsao, the white-line heartlands today, and the desertification of neighboring lands directly bordering, where legalized commercial trophy hunting of lions has been taking place for decades. Just as wolves restored waterways in Yellowstone Park, so ecologists now recognize the apex predator's role in restoring balance throughout the trophic levels of the food chain in an ecosystem. As inspirational symbols of true service-based leadership, the white lions in our protected area restore health to their ecosystem and hope to human systems. Behind me is land that was once seriously degraded in the heart of the white lion heartlands. The Global White Lion Protection Trust has been purchasing large tracts of land in the white lion's endemic homelands and returning the lions to the wild in a scientific reintroduction program. Because we know when the white lions flourish, all life flourishes. Today, all conservation issues are global issues. If Brazil loses its rainforests, Earth has lost her lungs. If South Africa loses its white lions, Earth has lost her heart. We can all feel it, the pulsing heart of the animal kingdom on Earth, the white lion's sacred natural site, revitalizing all the vital organs of our living planet.
Thank you, everyone. United with you at this time.
Oh, thank you so much, Linda. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you for being with us and for sharing that incredible work. What you do is so inspirational and so important. And the work you're doing there locally, and also the work you're doing globally for sacred sites with your engagement of UNESCO, and what you do at every level is just so inspiring. So we're tremendously grateful to have you with us today. And it's extraordinary that you shared that about Arvel, Chief Arvel Looking Horse, who is going to be in one of the programs tomorrow. And of course, World Peace and Prayer Day since 1996. I also met him when he came to Australia in 2003, and it had a big impact on me. It's a story there for another day. But I'd love to now go from Mama Linda to my own mother, if I can figure out how to spotlight her on the run here. And Mum has been protecting water and sacred sites in her own way her whole life, and in particular carrying the story of Mungo Lady and Lake Mungo and the Mungo Willandra Lakes World Heritage Area. Good morning, Mum. It's great to have you with us. Or you'll need to check your sound, Mum. I think you're just muted. You just need to unmute. Can we unmute her, Ian? Not sure if I can do it. There you go. Mum, can you speak? There you are.
Anyway,
Okay.
you weren't allowing me to unmute, Ben.
Okay, there you go.
But we're right now. But well, there are a few technical problems where, it's amazing and mysterious how all this technical stuff works. But miraculously, it's now working. Good afternoon, dear friends. I am a little nervous, so I'm just perhaps referring to my notes. So I was, I just got my classes, having to settle down from all that rearranging of the computer. It's been suggested I give a wisdom offering. A necessary start to wisdom is listening. Maybe longevity is helping me to listen and learn, a step to the getting of wisdom. Over my 2/3 of my life, my connection to this extraordinary Mungo story has changed my understanding of who I am. Ben was not born. Jim, his father, discovered Mungo woman in 1968. Ben was born after that. So Mungo maybe was in my life before Ben. Every event today is dedicated to protecting, the event today is dedicated to protecting and honouring water and natural sacred sites. In Australia and maybe in the world, the Mungo story is the jewel in the crown. It was by the living water in this natural environment that Mother Earth linked land and people, creating the wonder of Lake Mungo, one of the most sacred sites. Central to the planet's history of climate change, water remains a unifying foundation for planetary healing, a healing in the face of desert expansion, a healing between white Australia and Aboriginal culture, from whom we have so much to learn. In the Ice Age, more than 40,000 years ago, Mungo woman and Mungo man are living on fertile lake shores in what is now a desert country. Their burial reflects a culture rich in spirit connection with Mother Earth. It is 35,000 years before Patriarch Abraham, before the beginning of Judeo-Christian religion or the beginning of Islam. This is a mind-boggling fact to integrate, that here in Australia, spiritual practices of great significance were performed with such devotion. Mungo Lady, as she's become affectionately called by the traditional women, a heroine in her own right, was the first to present her existence and demonstrated her uniqueness to the world. 42,000 years, she was the first to indicate that her features were already fully modern, just like you and I. Her burial ritual was thus far the oldest known example of human cremation. She has changed the world in relation to human history, in particular Australian Indigenous history. She would have been totally unaware of what profound influences she has had to mankind, especially to the culture of her own descendants, the Aboriginal people of Australia, the longest living continuous culture on the planet. From Mungo, we stand today for more than 42,000 years as a consequence of the long periods of evolution, long periods of climate change that saw the arrival of modern humanity. Sadly, we are of the technological world, which I've just experienced. The enlightened ones are now the most consequential agents of climate change. We should stand alongside and seek to learn from the Indigenous people who have a long understanding of their own interactions with the environment, and one of their expressions here in Australia is living on country, back to country. And that is widely understood here. They're at home in their land, they belong to their land, and the land belongs to them. We live in moments of great change. However, Mother Earth has stepped up and has demonstrated, like a global earthquake with massive consequences, the devastation of the deadly virus. That has stopped us in our tracks. We are now forced to embrace radical changes in our behaviour. So it is time for the sense of, it is time to move from that sense of mechanical mastery over nature. Time to learn the new language of the our Indigenous colleagues. Time to listen to their messages, to learn to speak in loving terms of the concept Mother Earth, and embrace radical simplicity by adopting the spiritual practice of the Indigenous people called the diary. I'm a bit unclear about how to exactly say that, Ben. Daidiri, thank you. Which is inner deep listening and quite still awareness. so Mother Earth can begin to heal and fulfill her destiny.
Beautiful, Mum. Beautiful. Thank you. Beautifully done. And we're bringing in now Jyoti Ma, as well as my dear brother Mindahi, Dr. Mindahi Batisda is coming to join you too, Jyoti, as well. So thank you so much to Joan Bowler, and now we go to brother Mindahi and Jyoti Ma. And Mum, you can relax.
Wow. So the water has flowed, the lions have roared, and Grandmother Joan has brought us some wisdom about how important it is right now for us to honor our original peoples, for they have the voice of the mother and her instruction. And if we will but just listen. Over 9 years ago, the Mother Earth herself brought us a seed we call the fountain, and later the Kogi would name the fountain for the natural order of our existence. We've walked now for these 9 years following the instruction of the 4 original peoples. They have gone into consultation to the source of it all. They've come back and given us our direction, and we have walked it out, then held ceremony to express our gratitude for what we learned in the walking, and went back to get the next instruction. And that brought us up to here. The mission of the fountain was to restore an economic model that was based on reciprocity and collaboration and guided by nature and the sacred. And so it has been. We have come to discover that sacred ecology, where we have come back to understanding that it is an ecology based on value, not debt, and that every single one of us has a cord, a string of knowledge that we've brought from our own root to this time. And the amazing part of this is that the original people brought a thread of that original instruction, broken through all the challenging moments, to sit now and help us weave the tapestry of a new dawn. So we've come to understand that sacred economy must flow into the sacred territories and flow further into those cultures that take care of them, that feed the spirit of them, and that through that service, they care for Mother Earth and we that live on it. So with that, I just want to pass it to my brother Mindahi, because he's going to share more about the work we are doing in the fountain with our sacred territories. Mindahi?
Yes, thank you, Grandma Jyoti. And thank you, Brother Ben Bowler, for this amazing Unity Week World gathering, which represents the unification process as well for us. We greet all of you with our hearts and minds and feelings, bringing together this time, efforts to open our actions based in the original instructions, in the original way of living, remembering that we are just another species in this world, remembering that we have this mission about the care of life. Yes, the fountain and the unification process through the Mother Earth delegation, we have been working very consistent with the care of life. Many of the elders are speaking out through their voices, but it's Mother Earth who is telling us to behave. As you know, we are crossing this civilizational crisis because we have been misbehaving. Mother Earth is crying, holy waters are also crying. Even the waters in the sky, the rivers in the sky are also touched by this anthropocentric misbehavior. So we have embarked in the sacred territories in order to bring peace and dignity around the most beautiful places in the world, the most biocultural sacred sites. Because once we name them, there is a culture, there is a touch in the spirit and the mind and the body. So we have been following these instructions from Mother Earth. And through the Mother Earth delegation, we are gathering basic information and data to protect sacred sites and territories. As you know now, we hold 80% of the biodiversity in the world in indigenous and original nations' territories. But these territories are in danger because of commodification, because of greed, because of colonization, because of modernity and the so-called neoliberal policies and the capital way of doing. In our sacred territories, there is this big threat because of oil companies still wanted to bring out fossil fuels, and also because of mining companies. The urban sprawl, logging, and just because of they want to take over. This is the dominion that we are facing still after hundreds of years. Brothers and sisters, we are praying for all the world. We are doing payments and offerings around the world to protect these sacred sites, to protect life. But this time, we are going to continue doing the work that we have to do, even though we are tired. We need your help. We need your support. We need to come together. This is the time, and the time is now to really work in unity in the diversity. Brothers and sisters, nanas and tatas, grandpas and grandmothers, children of the world, we are here to meet our responsibilities, to meet prophecies. The eagle and the condor prophecy is in action as well. The dragon and the phoenix. And the most beautiful one is the new dawn, because we are passing through these difficult times, but the new dawn is here. In order to come in a soft way, we need to work together, act together, feel together, and really change the minds of those and those institutions who are attempting against life. This time, those sacred sites and those waters, those sacred fires and those sacred soils, they need also reciprocity. And this is the time for reciprocity as well. If we don't carry out this reciprocity, we won't make it as human species. Remember, we are here for a reason, but not forever, just for a while. We are honoring our ancestors, but also the future generations to come. we want to deliver to Mother Earth also good generations. Wherever you go, wherever you are, you carry out your responsibilities, because even climate change follows you. This is the time. And I'm going to offer just a little sound for Mother Earth, for all of you, for this Unity Week in the world. And I want that this time and space be permanent. We don't waste time. The waters are asking us to be here, and the sacred fire, and the sacred lands, and the sacred wind. So brothers and sisters, a big blessing from the fountain and the Mother Earth delegation and the Council of the Eagle and the Condor, and from the Otomi Toltec peoples and wisdom. I offer this sound for you and for Mother Earth and the celestial bodies. Ikamade moshingentine kwada, moshingentine ku. Be blessed. All of this World Unity Week and all this time and space. Ikamade moshingentine.
So
Thank
much
you.
gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Mindahi. Thank you, Jyoti. And we're so grateful for your work of the Fountain and the Mother Earth delegation, and been protecting sacred sites all around the world for so many years with such devotion and diligence. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mindahi. Thank you, Jyoti. And now we go to Jim Graywolf Petruzzi. Jim is also a fierce protector of sacred sites. And we're going to be hearing some stories from Standing Rock and also other work that Jim is doing. Welcome, Jim. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Yeah, this is an incredible circle we have here. So I'm just absorbing all the energy, and I'm just feeling what we're talking into. I've been about water and sacred places for the last 50 years, learning from people around the globe. The last 5 or 6 years, Standing Rock, Water is Life, being honored to work with Shelley and Jan on the World Water Law, I think pretty much from the beginning. And seeing things happen now that have been predicted and talked about for generations is a good thing. It certainly feeds my spirit. We've talked about the white lions and the white buffaloes, and I bring the wolves in, my animal guides, my family, because the animals are important now. And they will continue to be important as we go through this. We all really need to remember, as we work with our sacred waters and our sacred sites, and we have a room that is sacred sites, which goes hand in hand with our sister, the sacred waters. But we have to remember that it is not our mother who is at risk. It's we two-leggeds who are at risk. Our mother will heal. How long that might take is immaterial, because time is irrelevant when we look at our planet. We have to do what we need to do now so that we manage to survive, and we start to teach and leave all the animals in a place that's good as well. And I see that happening. I really do see that happening. I want to shift into Standing Rock. My chief is here, first of all, by the way, United Western Lenape, Chief Two Dog, and I thank him for being here. Standing Rock. Standing Rock opened a new wave of protection, a new way of protecting water, protecting land, a new way of uniting. When it started, I didn't know exactly what it would be. And I want to bring in another critical group, just like the Indigenous people are so critical right now. And that's the young people. And we're inviting young people into our room to be in some of the programs. Standing Rock was started by young people. 5 young people who went to LaDonna, Brave Bull, Howard, and said, this is wrong. Putting these pipes under our sacred river, putting these pipes through our land is wrong. Will you help us? And LaDonna and her husband, Miles, stepped up and said, yes, we will. And LaDonna dedicated her land in Standing Rock to be a base camp for the protest. The protest that I was asked to cover in the virtual realm, asked by relatives in Pine Ridge. And I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. And so I headed up to Standing Rock. It was pretty early on, just a couple months into the action, because I wanted to see for myself. I wanted to meet with LaDonna and hear what she wanted me to do. I wanted to be there for a while and absorb the energy. And it was fascinating going there. As we were up in the area, I'd stop at a place to eat, have a bite for lunch. I'd hear a lot of negative comments about what was going on in Standing Rock. I would hear comments like, oh, it's just a bunch of natives. No one's going to listen to them anyway. Don't worry about it. That was what people thought would happen. And because the media was not covering it as well, or covering it inadequately. We got to Standing Rock, and the young people who had first went to LaDonna met us at the gate. That was after going through a couple of military-like checkpoints where guards would lean into our vehicle with their rifles actually in our face. But we entered, and they came and wanted to know why I was there. And I told them. They weren't quite sure what to do yet. This thing was still very new. But we went in. I found a place where we could stay on the grounds. And that night met with LaDonna and Miles. Had a long talk with her. And she said she wanted everything to be peaceful. Everything had to be peaceful. It had to be the way of peace or it wouldn't stick. And I totally agreed. I mean, I'm old enough. I actually marched with Dr. King, so I completely agreed with that. And I told her that's what we would do. And so she identified a few groups she wished would not be on our virtual coverage because they were not peaceful and they were actually trying to cause trouble. And we agreed to that. So after talks, I was given a news pass, went and interviewed a lot of people in there in the camps and realized this wasn't to be called Standing Rock Protest. This was to be called Standing Rock Protectors. And that was what we named the site. And quickly, there were a couple 100,000 people in the site around the globe. And just like I saw at Standing Rock, where all these different people came together, I had people around me living there from countries I couldn't even begin to speak their language. We were the 4 colors. I watched traditional enemies hug each other and say, we have no time for this anymore. LaDonna was such an inspiration, and as most know, or many know, she passed away now. Seems like yesterday, but I suppose it's 2-3 months ago now. One of the last communications we had was, don't give up, never give up. We don't give up. And I told her, don't worry, we won't give up. And there's plenty behind us and plenty of young people who will not give up. We will walk this in a spiritual way as well as in an active way. We'll do it with ceremony and we'll do it with education. And that's been the process. I've watched things bloom all over the planet to protect all kinds of sites. Many of them will be represented in our room this week. We have our friends from Stonehenge who are stewards with us. We have people from around the world, India, Africa, South America, Canada, on and on and on. And that's exactly what we want to see. We want to keep the unity going, which is why I came to this last year. Ben's name, unity. I've talked unity for so long, I get sore in the throat. We must unite. There is absolutely no option at this point. We must change what we do, as my elders taught me for so many years. And so what I'd like to do is maybe read a little bit of this final piece that LaDonna gave me. One of the last things I worked on with LaDonna was the World Water Law. May have been the last thing, except for some messages she left me about never giving up. Recently, and it came to me to pull this up and bring it here, the pipeline was stopped. DAPL is dead. The head's been cut off of that black snake. There's a lot more snakes out there we have to stop. And I tell you, the day I heard that news, and I was quickly told by LaDonna's son, or her family, I can't remember who. As soon as I heard that, I'm telling you, I could see LaDonna dancing up in the spirit realm because she never gave up. 6 years, but it's a success. It was before that because it helped unite us all. But now it's a real success, and we just can continue going on, continue working with the water. So from LaDonna, this was the last piece of actual action that she sent me. The water of life, the first medicine of the world, is so precious to every living thing that grows, breathes, and lives. The water is the female blood of Mother Earth that brings life. A woman brings children into this world through water of the womb. She then cleans her children with water, cooks and feeds them with water. She plants and waters her gardens. The trees that grow and provide air need water. Water is life. And as we say, miniwakone, water of life. We will continue to stand for the water so that all may live. The World Water Law is a great way for all people to unite around our water and demand a binding international law protecting one of our Mother Earth's prime resources. Her good earth woman, LaDonna Brave Bull Allard. And we continue to take this to heart. We watch the young people out there marching. My tribe was actually the first tribe in the country to pass a climate emergency proclamation. And I'm proud of that they came together to do that, and others have followed. There's more and more that will be done. People like LaDonna are just as busy up there, I can guarantee you, as we are down here. No, more busy. I never saw her rest. And just to finish this, the other day I was in a cemetery. A family member passed away, and we were putting her to her rest. And there was a sign, several of them in the cemetery. The sign said, "Never give up." I thought that's strange. In a cemetery, never give up. Again, I heard LaDonna as I saw those signs. It turned out those signs were about a young man who took his own life, and there was going to be a huge rally by other people at a local river to honor him and to remind each other, never give up. So we are here, we're united. There's many, many rooms this week, and I hope we all get a chance to look at all of them. And I thank Ben and everyone else involved for what they've done to continue to do this, because it takes a ton of work. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. So amazing. And you have a great team working with you on that convergence room, sacred land, sacred sites. And it's got some incredible content, like you've said. So I encourage everybody to go. You can get there through the World Unity Week site, go to the Board of Boards and look for Sacred Land, Sacred Sites. Jim, that's the name of the board to look for.
It is. And I think we have a couple surprises coming too. So keep watching.
All right, cool. We like surprises. Well, and here is really the heart and brains and mind behind this wonderful gathering today, Dr. Shelley Ostroff. It's so lovely to have you with us, Shelley, seeing this vision made manifest of protecting and honoring water and the natural sacred sites.
Thank you, Ben. And maybe just before I begin, you'll share the video.
Okay, we'll show the video now. Yes, let's do that. Let's do that. Ready to go. Yes.
We are water.
We, citizens of Earth, call for and commit to working together for the immediate and universal protection of all water.
As the first vital step towards global cooperation for effective worldwide social and ecological healing.
The World Water Law requires the uncompromising protection and restoration of all natural water sources, watersheds, aquifers, lakes, wetlands, estuaries, and oceans.
The rewilding of ecosystems necessary for the restoration of the planetary water cycle.
The guaranteed free access of all humans and animals to the natural uncontaminated water.
The World Water Law holds all governments, corporations, communities, and individuals fully accountable for their impact on all waters everywhere.
This one law serves as a unifying foundation for all governments and citizens to work together with community-led wisdom and stewardship councils in ways that effectively serve the health and vitality of the whole.
The World Water Law provides an essential foundation for aligning human laws with the original laws of nature.
This global initiative honors the many water guardians around the world
who have dedicated their lives to the protection and reverence of water on behalf of all life.
Join the Global Alliance for a World Water Law.
And add your voice to make the World Water Law a global reality. Together, we rise for water.
Together, we rise for all of life.
We rise together with the tide. Water's law now must preside. We are water.
Thank you. So as this little video shows, the World Water Law, the proposal, is envisioned as a citizen-led initiative that unites citizens around the world in working together for exponential, radical healing of all of life. The inspiration comes from many places, but I want to especially honor the White Lions, who I had the privilege to encounter many years ago in 2012, and the work of Linda Tucker, who is doing extraordinary work on so many levels to help us move from a human-centric way of governing to an ecocentric one. And as the years passed and I began to receive more and more understanding from the lions and study how do we apply whole system healing wisdom to how we organize ourselves as a species, and was really asking what is the way that we can exponentially heal the planet in the way that is so needed. I was blessed a year and a half ago to receive a vision around water and to see water as the unifying foundation for a global citizen-led movement that can activate this kind of radical whole system transformation in the way that we organize ourselves as a species. And another inspiration, of course, was Standing Rock, because what I saw in Standing Rock was something that really went through a lot of my own defenses and my own lack of awareness to recognize how these people were able to come together and stand for the sacred in a way that activated the whole world. And my invitation is to really imagine what this world water law can do if we take Standing Rock, the inspiration from there, the inspiration from all the indigenous people who are fighting on the front lines at great risk to themselves to hold on to the last areas of biodiversity in their reverence, in their sacredness, and to protect them and to begin to build together buffers of protection until we can actually heal ourselves completely. And the world water law is born from the understanding that when water is violated at source, then we create a domino effect through all of life. None of us can be healthy without healthy water. And yet, when we actually come together in an uncompromising way to heal water at source, we create a cascading health of whole system healing that transforms the way that we think about economy, politics, agriculture. And there are in the world today so many extraordinary solutionaries leading the way forward to new ways, new and ancient ways of living in alignment with life. And the hope and the invitation is that we can all come together to with a collective vision and a collective pathway forward, which is honoring the source and the sustenance and the medicine of all life. And as such, to remember who we are as water beings, and that water that is speaking through so many of us today is leading the way forward. And there is a wave of understanding that we cannot live without her. And as we develop this greater reverence for her, we learn that it is essential also to protect those natural sacred sites, which are the organs of our planetary body, and that water and these natural sacred sites are the foundation for this movement to understand how to return to right relationship with nature, right relationship with each other, and to begin to create new forms of governance that can really do what governance is for, which is to protect and cultivate the health and vitality of the planet and all its inhabitants for generations to come. And this initiative is the first initiative of Codes for a Healthy Earth, which offers a framework for doing that. So I'm so grateful to all of you for being here, and invite you to consider joining the Global Alliance and organizing together as creative citizens from around the world, figuring out how we can actually make this a global reality. So thank you, and looking forward to seeing you in the Global Alliance.
Alliance for the World Water Law, and you'll find all those links in the chat there. It's amazing. Its time has come. You can feel everybody here has been gathered around that. Jyoti and Mindahi and Linda and Jim and Uncle Phil, who we're going to hear from, and of course, Shelley and Jan, who are really holding the center for this World Water Law. It really is a very powerful and extraordinarily straightforward, simple thing around which we can unite. Well, you know, as we come together in unity, Jim, it's good to have something clear around which we are uniting, and the World Water Law can certainly provide that framework, and beautiful videos and presenters and so many different ambassadors that are stepping forward to say now is the time for us to come together for the World Water Law. So thank you, Dr. Shelley Ostroff, for your vision and your incredible passion and devotion to bring it through. And we're all with you in supporting the World Water Law and the Alliance for a World Water Law. Its time has come, and today, on the solstice of 2021, the beginning of a new era, let us come together around this beautiful framework. Now, Chief Phil Lane Jr. is someone who's been on this journey for many, many winters, and has been fighting and protecting and striving to protect the sacred in so many different ways, people and land and water. And it's a great honor. Thank you so much, Chief Phil Lane Jr., for being with us on this holy day and this holy commemoration. We're honored to have you with us.
Mitaki Epi, my very, very beloved relatives of our human family. I just want to extend a very, very heartfelt embrace and handshake to each and every one of you. I want to thank Purpose Earth, the support. We need that at this time to manifest our prophecies, which will end up before or on 2030, the beginning of world peace, no question. I want to thank Unity Earth. Thank you, Brother Ben, and your beloved mother. Thank you for sharing, Joan. It's such an honor always to be with you, my elder. You'll always be my elder. Even though I'm 77 winters, you're out there in front. And of course, Shelley and Jan, what a beautiful job you've done. What a beautiful film. I loved it. I saw it earlier. I sent you a note about it. It had all those relatives from the human family there supporting water. And of course, Jyoti, Sister Jyoti, what a wonderful work you've done. What a great, great work you're doing, bringing our relatives together about the earth. And of course, Linda Tucker, whoa, what great work. And we also have our prophecies, you know, from Tahanshi Orville. We also have another prophecy of the pink albino white buffalo, which has also been fulfilled, which connects to all the white animals as well. And of course, Brother Mindahi, wow, what a good man. He is at work all the time. And his beloved daughter, his wife, the whole family is devoted. So I thank you, beloved brother, for that work. And Brother Jim, this particularly hits my heart because my father was born in Wakpala, right on the Standing Rock. And I can remember back, I guess this was would have been 1969. I was coaching and teaching at Walla Walla Community College at the time. And we had a wonderful elder, Frank White Buffalo Man, come to visit from Little Eagle. That's opposite Chain Boots from Wakpala. And here's what one of the stories he told me when we were walking out behind my parents' home. There were some trees there and some water. He says, you know, we're walking along, he said, everything was sacred. So he said, what are those trees are telling you? I didn't know. So I knew everything he said, they're sacred. He said, those trees, he said, the alder tree doesn't tell the pine tree to move over, but the pine tree doesn't tell the fir tree to move over. They all stand together with their arms pressed towards the same creator, arms raised to the same creator, with their foundation in the breast of Mother Earth. And protecting one another. Protecting one another. He said, this is the way we have to be, just like you said, Brother Jim. Unity. That's what this is about, to unify our diverse members of our human family. Now, to focus on this area of sacred sites, and of course, many Wakoni, water is life. I remember first year we Sundanced with Pete Keshes, and he liked to dance 2 days and 2 nights nonstop, but 110 outside, no water at all. And I remember why we were thirsty. Now I'll tell you, one thing you have to know about water, when you go up and fast for 4 days with no food and water, or Sundance, whatever you do, no water, you find how precious it is. And I remember Pete coming to us, and we were thirsty. Of course, you're supposed to be kind of detached, but we were thirsty. And this is when he came in with the teaching. He says, you know, boys, he said, I think you understand now. Water is medicine. It is a sacred medicine, and treat it that way always. When you drink, pray with it. When you bathe with it, pray, because it's giving its life that you might have life. We are water, just as you said, Shelley, in your beautiful film. We are water, literally. We are water. You see how I'm doing my timing. So to get down to this, in 2009, we had a gathering which went on for 9 years, the Indigenous Leadership Gathering. And at that point, we decided to consult with Indigenous people across the Americas, including Rio Plus 20, went to Paris to Paris climate change talks, all over. The big gathering of all Indigenous people in Panama. So everybody consulted about this treaty. And I want to just point out and share in support of what you're doing, of what our elders said, 100%. And this has been shared, it was shared and signed by Indigenous people across the Americas, as well as Indonesia, plus other members of our human family. And here's what it says. It says, Articles International Treaty to Protect and Restore Mother Earth. Article 1, we, the members of the human family, commit to protecting and restoring the sacred. We will remind ourselves and our human family through our sacred prayers, songs, ceremony, and our ancient prophecies that Mother Earth is our sacred provider of earth. Restoring the sacred includes preserving and protecting sacred sites worldwide and returning sacred and holy heirloom objects taken from their rightful owners. We will return these sacred sites and objects for their original cultural and spiritual purposes. All these sacred sites have been taken from us and now made into tourist zones. They need to be returned to Indigenous people so we can continue our prayers for humanity, because each of these sacred sites has been put just like an acupuncture point in the body at the very places we need to have help. So that's one. Also in the same treaty, and I think this fits in to the water, Shelley and Jan and everybody. Article 14, we the members of the human family commit to establish and maintaining bioregional marine sanctuaries throughout Mother Earth as soon as possible. That's why we've been remapping, literally remapping the Americas, remapping into bioregions. Bioregional marine sanctuary are named areas of earth, water, and air where natural animal populations protected and restored to more than 50% of historic levels as soon as possible, and water quality and forest biomass levels preserved and restored to a very high concentrations. Bioregional marine sanctuary boundaries correspond to natural features such as watershed topography, vegetation types, oceanic, continental shelves and margins, including all rivers, creeks, lands, lakes and ponds, and estuaries, and aquifers. So again, my heartfelt thanksgiving Please join us as at 8 o'clock this morning. Indigenous people from across the Americas have been gathering, discussing, celebrating the 1-year anniversary that took place at 5:44 p.m. PDT 2020, June 2020. The union was formed. And now literally we're building the digital backbone. So they're right now all day they're talking about this. So we invite you to join us for the closing, our ceremony to celebrate this. We invite all of you to attend. I think now again I get mixed up in Eastern time and Western time, all that stuff, but it's so it'd be, let's see, PDT time 5, so it'd be 8 to 9:30 Eastern time. Or you can bring it back 3 hours, it'll be. So Mitaki Epi, I really thank you so much for this time. I just want to close, if I might, with a prayer for unity. It's so needed. And I love each and every one of you. And you got to forgive an old man. I kind of get passionate about this because you have so much longer in your life to live as elders. And so that's why our effort is rise up, elders. Rise up. Enough time laying and binge watching Netflix. Time to get up. So I just want to say this prayer for unity and this again, express my deep, deep love and compassion for each and every one of you, members of one human family. In fact, even more than that, to understand the prior unity and oneness of a human family in all life, and the herd of one is a herd of all, and the honor of one is the honor of all. Oh my God, unite the hearts of thy servants and reveal unto them thy great purpose. May they follow in thy commandments and abide in thy law. Help them, O God, in their endeavor and grant them strength to serve thee. O God, leave them not to themselves, but guide their steps to the light of knowledge and cheer their hearts by thy love. Verily, thou art their helper, the Lord. Halimi chante washtelo shukmano hemedo chinupasapa hemedo halimi chante washte. My names are Shukmano and Chinupasapa, and I stand fully responsible before the Creator for my words and my actions. Halimi chante washte. Ho.
Oh, thank you, beloved. Thank you, beloved Uncle Phil, for the power of your prayers. Thank you for being with us and blessing us, and for all of your energy and your passion, which is felt far and wide. And and that reunion of the Condor and the Eagle, that's a very special thing that's happening in just a few hours. It's listed as 7:30 p.m. in Eastern Daylight Time, but it might be 8 p.m. by the time you get to the heart of it. But that's something you're inviting everybody to come and to be a part of in the Global Fire Ceremony Room. So thank you so much. It's a very important anniversary. Thank you so much. And to close us, what an extraordinary circle it's been around the earth. So many 4 continents represented in this circle, gathering together to protect and honor the water and the natural sacred sites. And to finish and to close, just to thank everybody as we come to Jyoti Ma, who's going to do the final closing and blessing. I want to thank Shelley and Jan for the vision and the hard work to put this. It does take blood, sweat, and tears to bring this together. You guys really have followed through with it in such a wonderful way. And Linda and Joan and Jim and Mindahi and Chief Phil, of course, all coming together to hear the call and answer the call. So Jyoti Maj, we close this beautiful session on this amazing day. And we'd be honored to have you close us out.
Thank you. And I just want to say, put my heart, my prayers all around what you just said, all those, Shelley, Jan, all the work you've done to pull us together, Ben, you and John, and an amazing team that is the angel behind the scene with all the weavings going on. And also to invite everybody into our fountain room, that we'll have 3 days where we can dive deeper into all of this with you. So please come and join us. I'm also thinking, Jim, because Unchi Beatrice Long Visitor Holy Dance, she called me granddaughter, and I was with her a couple of days before she passed. And I was leaving, and she was very weak, and she leaned up and she yelled down the hall at me as I was leaving, "Jyoti." And I said, "What, Unchi?" And she pointed her finger at me and she said, "Keep on keeping on." So with that, I go into our prayer. I want to say thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, all of this creation and all the wonder that you are. Thank you for all the wisdom that has come to share itself today in the weaving of this circle. May it flow out and spread itself and its wisdom in all the places that it can reverberate around this planet. I know, Mother Earth, that you are rejoicing right now because there is an awakening, and it is getting louder and stronger with every breath we take and every moment of this kind of unity expressed. You celebrate life, and we do too. I know, I can feel you. You are calling on all the light bringers to light themselves fully and to walk firmly, yet gently, unified in our diversity, to listen to your instruction without question, to follow that instruction, for you are bringing us into a new dawn, and our hearts will lead the way. I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks for this day. Blessings on all of you and all of life and the water that runs through you, surrounds you, holds you, bless you, heals you, nurtures you, and the ground your feet are holding on right now. Life is a blessing that caught us. Might we pay attention to that and reach back and hold life as dearly? That's my full prayer. Blessings to you all. Thank you, Ben, for all you do.
The birds are singing here, even though it's the birds are singing. Well, the dawn is coming up, actually. So the sun's coming up just as you're completing there, and the birds are starting to sing. I think that's a good sign. Shelley, did you have anything you wanted to say just before we completely transition?
Just to express my deepest gratitude to you, Ben, to everybody that's here and who participated in the ceremony and actively and as audience, and to really pray with all of you that this vibration of honoring and the reverence for water and the sacred sites will be taken with us throughout the week, and invite people also to the rooms that are connected to water source rooms. And also on Wednesday, there's going to be a whole day in the Global Fire Ceremony room dedicated to water, which is an extraordinary opportunity to bring water and fire together. The restoration of the sacred relationship of water and fire is symbolized on Wednesday, on the 23rd, in Indigenous wisdom and the world water law coming together over a couple of events. So thank you. And blessings for the rest of the week as we unify to make the impossible, what we thought impossible, really possible.
Okay, wonderful. Check out the World Water Law, and let's rise together to protect and